letting everyone know who's online. This is Danielle Fields. I'm your National Vice President of Partnerships, and I have with me Wendy Demas with Nothing But Nets. And I'm sorry if I didn't say that right.
No,
Wendy.
you said it right. Thank you so much, Danielle. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm happy to be with you on your Leadership Live call. I want to be part of this. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, JCI USA has a wonderful partnership with Nothing But Nets. And we are getting ready to participate with Nothing But Nets in a summit that happens in Washington, D.C. Each year in March. So I wanted to bring Wendy on to tell you a little bit about it because the registration deadline is approaching very quickly. So we want to honor our partnership and offer our members opportunities as well to learn how to be better advocates with their representatives. Yes.
We hear you.
Okay, good. I think we might have finally got it. Sorry, JCI USA. We had some major difficulty going on here. Well, welcome, Wendy. Wendy is with Nothing But Nets. We are going to get her to talk a little bit about Nothing But Nets and the summit real quick.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in, Wendy.
My pleasure. I always love hanging out with the JCI crew. As mentioned, my name is Wendy. I might have met you at Corpus Christi last year or not. I'm part of the Nothing But Nets team. I'm the grassroots advocacy officer. So what that means is that I get the honor and the pleasure to meet with people from across the country and connect them to their members of Congress for the purpose of helping to end malaria. If you're not aware of malaria, since it's not something that we're really impacted by in the US, the reason that it's important for us to end malaria is because it's a disease that's completely curable and treatable, but it still kills a child every 2 minutes, and half of the world's population is impacted by it. So each year we have a gathering here in Washington, D.C., where we bring people from across the country to meet with members of Congress and just remind Congress that as Americans, we care about this issue, that as Americans, we still see ourselves as leaders in the world, as people of influence that want to do good. And we want to see Congress continue to just exercise being a good neighbor. That's the way that the U.S. has obtained its influence and maintained its influence abroad for a long time, is by just being a friendly neighbor, not just by providing military support, which we know that happens, but also by doing goodwill and planting seeds of trust and seeds of relationship. And global health is a way that the U.S. has historically done that, because if somebody is not in good health, they can't reach their full potential. If somebody gets bit by a mosquito and that ends up keeping them from going to school, or women and girls have the burden of taking care of the families when they get malaria. Families that don't have running water and have to go get water from a river or a well. Most of the time it's women and girls also, and if they get bit by a mosquito, again, impacts their education, impacts their ability to just build a future. So malaria is one of these diseases that really stifles a country's development, really stifles a person's future. And we just want to do our part to end it because, again, it's something that's preventable, it's treatable, it's curable. And it's something that has been part of global history as actually one of the highest killers. Isn't a crocodile, it's not an alligator, it's not a dinosaur, it's the mosquito, you guys. So we're trying to do our part to not have any fatalities related to malaria, to a mosquito bite, so people can live out their full potential. So that's what we do at Nothing But Nets, in case you weren't familiar with us. In regards to the Leadership Summit specifically, our gathering here is in DC, and it's going to be on March 8th through the 10th. You can find that registration information at nothingbutnets.net. I know also that JCI will be sending out communication with more details, with the specific link directing you to registration, and just the different opportunities that we're offering in regards to training. And also, we don't want finances to be a reason that people don't come to DC to meet with their members of Congress if this is an issue that they're passionate about. So we do offer travel assistance that you can apply to. And In most cases, travel gets covered from 50 to 100%, depending on where people are coming from. So yeah, those are my quick bullet points, guys. If you have any questions on anything I missed.
Yeah, we're super excited. This will be my first year actually being able to come.
It does show
so
how
excited.
important it is.
Yeah, it's a huge cause. And yeah, I think health is so important. Just personally, if someone is not at their full health capacity, it really limits their ability on what they can achieve, if they can achieve their full potential. So if anything that we can do as an organization and as a group of people to be a part of eliminating malaria, which is what we're hoping to achieve by 2030. We got 10 years to go, and we have to step up the fight.
Right.
So Wendy, can you tell me
anything to ask or add to what Wendy said?
Yeah, Wendy, can you tell us a little bit about what the schedule is going to be like? I know it starts on a Sunday and it goes through a Tuesday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can't hear her. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, of course. So on Sunday we start with there's a broad schedule. So if you're not a Champions Council member, we have a group of Champions Council members that are also JCI members. So that group would actually arrive for exclusive training at 8 a.m. on Sunday, March 8th. If this is your first time attending or you're just getting familiar with Nothing But Nets, you would want to join as a regular attendee. And that starts at 3 p.m. on Sunday. So you just have a later start essentially, but then the group comes together at 3 for the same programming. So essentially on Sunday, we're kind of providing a broad strokes view of why we're gathered and like why the issue of malaria is something that we all care about. On Monday, we dive deeper into training and really preparing for those meetings. We'll have trainings that are specific to how do you lead a meeting? How do you participate in a meeting with a member of Congress? But also we'll give you background and context on like what's going on in DC so that it's not a complete bubble, and especially if it's like your first time on the Hill, just to kind of give you a sense of what that's like. Right. And then we also have trainings that are more specific to malaria's relationship to the advancement of women and girls, malaria's relationship to climate, and also malaria's relationship to economic development. So we'll have different teachings throughout the day on that. We'll have people who are leaders in the global health community that lead the Global Fund, which is a huge fund that the whole world contributes to. And it's part of a global effort to eliminate AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. So we'll have leaders and partners from that respect, also from the President's Malaria Initiative, which was started by George Bush. And also we will have partners that do work on the ground to give us context of just like what is life like on the ground in a country that is malaria endemic, what the program's impact are, and just like what it would be like when a country no longer has malaria. Just how would their economy change? How would their prospects change? So bringing people in from those different areas of expertise. Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah. One of the things that I'm excited about is the opportunity to meet with my congressmen and senators and others, not just from Georgia, which is where I'm from, but others, but also the opportunity as we advocate for Nothing But Nets to also have a few minutes to talk about other situations or other concerns in our own communities, just as JCs, as we see like on the ground stuff. Have you had a lot of feedback from JCI members in the past about the growth that they experienced as a result?
Yeah, one of our great champion members are actually Jesse and Ashley Elliott. They are tremendous champions of ours. They're super passionate about ending malaria. They host fundraisers, and they're so great at connecting the dots pretty much with like everything they do. They've been involved with Nothing But Nets since the beginning, and we're a 13-year-old organization, I want to say. So they've been involved with us since early on. This past August, they actually hosted a fundraiser that they initiated with the WNBA team from Seattle. The Seattle, it just went away. But the Seattle WNBA team, Storm, the Seattle Storm. There we go.
I wasn't going to be any help there.
I know. I was like, it's in here, I promise. So they hosted a fundraiser. They reached out to the Seattle Storm, and they ended up raising $3,000 for bed nets. But they also invited the members of Congress for those districts in Washington State. And also the senators, and they also invited our funders, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of our funders. And it was just like a great gathering to show Congress and to show the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation the backing that there is for ending malaria. So my first example is really seeing Jesse and Ashley Elliott really being able to connect the dots and just like their passion and their enthusiasm. Yeah, and Jesse and Ashley just really remind me of just the energy that JCI members bring. I remember when I was in Corpus Christi, there's just like such a great energy when JCI members get together. And to me, Jesse and Ashley just really embody that. And it's great that we get to count them as supporters and JCI members. So it's just like a double gold star for us.
That's awesome. I'm so excited about this opportunity. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably going to be one of the highlights of my year. And my goal for the year is to just educate our membership on our partnerships, both with Nothing But Nets and Hobie. So I wanted to have you on first since we have a little bit more of a time crunch.
Yes.
Getting them in for you, and then we'll talk about Hobie as well later. Miranda, well, Wendy, thank you so much. I know you had to jump off of another call to be on with us. So we so appreciate you doing that and being here with us. Did you have anything that you kind of wanted to touch on at all, or did we hit everything you wanted?
I'm excited, one, to be on this call. This is like the first time I participate in a leadership live, so this is a good time. I'm digging the vibes with you, Miranda and Danielle. This is fun.
Thank you.
I hope everybody else is enjoying the show as well.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, but just thank you for having me. I can't wait to meet more of you all JCI members that I might have not met last year at our leadership summit. I know it's going to be a great time, and we're just like really looking forward to sharing all the information that's coming out and being able to connect the issue of malaria to just the greater global perspective. So yeah, we look forward to having you, and we really hope that you're able to maximize this opportunity as a leadership development opportunity, and just become better leaders in your own community.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you. Have a great evening and a great meeting, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see. Looks like we have James down here. So we can go ahead and bring James Danley in. I'm still unable to hear you, Danielle, but apparently it's just me. So I'm going to let you and James talk and try and reset this and see if that helps, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here I'm bringing James in. See, and I can hear James. It's apparently an iPhone thing, so I'm going to drop down and let James come up, and then I'm going to fix this.
Hey, James.
James.
Hi, Danielle.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am well. I wanted to have you on because you were the person who convinced me to try out this summit. So I've been excited about it. For about a year and a half, I wasn't able to make it last year. So I wanted you to kind of tell about your experience with Nothing But Nets and the summit and how it helped you to grow both in your advocacy skills, but also just in general as a person and professional.
Yeah, sure. So many of you have probably heard that I've said a number of times that Nothing But Nets, in a way, changed my life for the better. One thing that I was never really good at was advocacy work overall, and definitely interacting with my members of Congress. I've interacted with local city government through the JCs, but nothing really much larger than that. So I guess from the summit experience, itself, all the way from attending that to actually Advocacy Day on the Hill, I would say the summit itself is very informative. So, like Wendy mentioned, you get all the information on the strides that we're making against malaria, the problems that we still have, whether there's resistance built up with those mosquitoes, and then the new drugs that are coming out. So you get to hear firsthand stories from people that actually have been affected by malaria. And with a recent job change that I've had, it's very personal to me now because I'm traveling all over the world. And here in a few weeks, I'll be in the Middle East, and I still have to go to South America. I've got to go to Africa this year. And so it's real and personal. So I get to at least take that piece of my story and share it with my members of Congress. So to that point, not only do I meet with them whenever I'm in Washington, D.C., but I obviously have the follow-up meetings when I come back to South Carolina. So Senator Tim Scott, Senator Lindsey Graham, and my representative from my district, Joe Wilson, they all know me very well. Because of the situation, obviously, with Nothing But Nets. All of them are very supportive. Joe Wilson is a former JC, so we've been able to discuss that. But we meet on common ground because, like it's been mentioned before, this is a bipartisan issue. Kids dying every couple of minutes is unacceptable. But our troops are in harm's way. Our citizens, as we travel, we're in harm's way. And it really resonates with our leaders. And then how I make it personal is whenever I'm meeting with them, is I let them know that they've got a lot of constituents in the state that care about this issue, because it's not just active JCI members, but it's our alumni, it's our senators, and those numbers start getting into the thousands, and they're all over the state. And I'm like, and I promise you this is important to them. So obviously they start listening, but this is a great platform to build the relationship with our government officials, because then whenever I have another issue that I want to discuss with them, it's like I already have that relationship established. So whenever I reach out to them, it's easy to have that conversation. And so that would have never been possible had I not taken the first step to go to the first Nothing But Net Summit. And so, and then there's a whole nother network now, because you network with the other champions that are there and the other members, and then you look forward to seeing them. I've made friends even in South Carolina as we go around, and we group together usually with some other states. So I've been with the Massachusetts people, so I got to go into the meetings that they had with Elizabeth Warren's office. Even though she's not my senator, she's there. So you're there supporting, the cause. And then same thing with North Carolina. We usually get paired with them often. And so then it's like, it's great to follow up with those people too. And I can honestly tell you that we've gained JCI members just by going to the summit, because it's a great opportunity to tell what our organization does with the people that are there. And I'm telling you, it's the prime audience. If you grab those 18 to 40-year-olds, they already care about advocacy, obviously, and one of the strong causes that we support.
That's awesome. It's funny that you mentioned the military, because I was in Texas a couple of weekends ago, and one of the members is a veteran, and he was talking about how much malaria really does affect our troops overseas, and how sometimes the medicines are or can be dangerous, so they have to be careful about it. So he was really interested in coming and helping to advocate not only for the nets, but just building those relationships so we can make better medicines that help the military more than it does now.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how wide and expansive the impact of malaria is, and how close to home it really hits sometimes.
Yes, that's very true. And I think, one of the things that we learned at the summit last year was it's making a resurgent in the Dominican Republic. That's really close to home.
Right.
So we've taken the steps to get rid of it in the U.S., but it's kind of knocking on our door. So, the funding and the work that we do is extremely important right now to get that back under control. But the big thing that you learn through this is that by 2040, we should be able to eliminate malaria, period, our lifetime, something that we young change makers can go out there and do. So, that's pretty amazing.
Awesome. So I guess, are you planning on going this year? Are you going up to DC?
I am. Yep, I'll be there.
I'm so excited. It's going to be March 8th through the 10th for those of you who didn't hear Wendy a second ago. So I definitely want as many JCs present as we can. Nothing But Nets is a great partnership for our organization. So I want as many JCs to come and experience it and make that plan. The registration deadline is going to be February 7th. I think they are extending it. It was originally next week on January 31st. So it's going to be February 7th. So go ahead and start looking at your calendars. Like Wendy said, there is a stipend for travel. So you can, get 50 to 100% of your travel expense back after the summit. And it's just a really great way to spend a few days and learn how to be a better advocate, both for malaria and in general, because whatever you learn here, you're going to be able to take and apply to other situations in your JCI career, in your professional career, and in your personal life.
Totally agree.
I think we are waiting on Miranda to come back, possibly. So I'm just going to talk to you for a second, James.
Sure. So I'm just going to say, I mentioned before, once I started going to the summit, I haven't missed one since I've gone. So I think, every bit of work that all of us do across this country is important because it's just smaller pieces of the bigger puzzle. I feel like, whenever I go there, I'm an important piece of the puzzle because of the committees that my senator sits on. And the one thing that I found, and just an interesting point to share with you guys, is President Trump was considering cutting foreign aid. And so when I was in Lindsey Graham's office, I made the comment that, President Trump wants to make America first. So why can't he make us first in leading the way to solving this crisis? Because if we back off of our funding, other countries will too. And then we'll have a problem that's completely out of control. And Lindsey Graham's office is like, can we use that quote? Because we would like to use it to talk to President Trump. And then that year, he not only met our funding request, but he increased it. So I'm not saying my quote did that, but it's just amazing that, you can see the buy-in from your senators and your representatives. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be an eye-opening experience for me because so many times I get in my little small town Georgia bubble and don't realize, there's a world around me that has issues that are different than mine, just completely different world, really, literally. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great experience. And I'm hoping that we have record numbers in attendance this year because it really is an opportunity for you to develop personally and professionally, which is what we're all about.
That's right. And so I'll just throw out the disclaimer. I am driving from South Carolina on Saturday. And so I'm taking one of my members with me. And so as I travel through Virginia, North Carolina, as I come that way, if anybody wants to hop in, you're more than welcome to. I'm driving the truck. You might have to sit in the bed, but no, I'm just kidding. But I do have room for a few more if people want to, carpool and ride along with us.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm not really sure how to wrap this up because I thought Miranda was jumping back on. There she is. Hello.
Hey, sorry. Now I figured out the problem. I can only hear one of you at a time because now that I get back on, I hear Danielle. I do not hear James. I heard James earlier, so I don't know what the problem is with the iPhone app. But yeah, so technology is really winning with me today. But hey,
we had a good time with James.
Yeah, well, I watched it on Facebook on trying to see when y'all were going to finish or whatever. But, y'all did so great without me. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of y'all.
That's awesome.
So, but
well,
yeah.
Thank you, James, for being with us. We appreciate you jumping on in your busy schedule.
Yes, definitely glad to be there. As you can tell, I'm in the car traveling still. I'm in the Midwest,
Always.
So good times.
But I just hope he didn't say anything bad about me.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm just kidding, James. But I can't hear anything. It's just your lips are moving.
Well, thank you, James. We appreciate you.
Thanks, James. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Good night.
All right. So, yeah, technology has not been our best friend today. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient. Thank you, MVP Danielle and James and Wendy and everybody that we had tonight. Y'all were all amazing. And so thank y'all. We will end this tonight, and we will be back next Thursday. We will have MVP Anna Price talking to us about her about the awards and how you can submit for awards. And I think she's going to have some of the committee from the award, or some of the people that are on the awards committee with her talking about that. So that way we can get prepared to submit our awards for year-end meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll throw a link in after this finalizes. I'll throw a link in for you to register for the summit and also to become a champion. So I'll throw those two links in after we're finished.
Okay. Thanks, Danielle.
Awesome. Thank you, Miranda.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.